Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping right into quite a complex set of sources. We've got personal notes, research, all compiled by one Dr. Trevor Benson.
Yeah, and the goal here is really to track his story. He moves from this high-flying military medical career to, well, recovery in New Bern, North Carolina.
But it's not just about recovery, is it? It sort of accidentally becomes this investigation into grief, kindness, and some really deep small-town secrets.
Exactly. And when you look at Trevor's background, I mean, it's pretty incredible. Naval Academy, double major chemistry and math, then straight into Johns Hopkins Medical School.
Right. He was absolutely on track to be this high-powered orthopedist, engineered for it almost.
Until September 9th, 2011, near Kandahar Airfield in Afghanistan.
That's when everything changed. He was hit by mortar shrapnel outside a field hospital, ironically.
Yeah, and the injuries weren't just physical, they were career-ending, professionally devastating.
Can you detail those injuries? Because they're a key to understanding why surgery was suddenly off the table.
For sure. He lost sight in his right eye, so no depth perception, critical for a surgeon, obviously.
Right.
Plus, a significant facial scar, shrapnel in his torso, loss of 2 fingers on his left hand, and an ear on the same side.
Wow.
Now, he did have extensive cosmetic surgery, got a prosthetic ear, or prosthetic eye, looked more normal, you could say, but the nerve damage, the spinal issues, headaches, and crucially, the loss of dexterity.
It just meant that the surgical career, the thing he'd built his whole life around.
Gone. Absolutely gone.
And that's what sends him back into New Bern, North Carolina. He's escaping, really. Running from his own issues, anger, insomnia, depression.
Yeah, battling some serious demons. And he lands in this inherited house, his grandfather's place, Carl Haverson.
Tell us about Carl. He seems like a central figure, even though he's passed away before Trevor gets there.
He really is. Carl was a WWII vet, worked at a mill his whole life, built this quirky old house near Bryce's Creek himself, and importantly, he raised Trevor after Trevor's parents died in a plane crash. He was Trevor's anchor.
Okay, so Trevor inherits the house, but Carl himself, the circumstances of his death are the first real puzzle.
Exactly. Carl was 91, he had a stroke, and died in a hospital, but not in New Bern. He died in Easley, South Carolina.
Which is, what, a 6, maybe 9-hour drive away?
Easily. A huge distance. Why would a 91-year-old man make that trip alone? That's the question hanging in the air.
And the only lead Trevor has is this jumble of words Carl said in his final moments.
Right. Trevor managed to write them down amidst the chaos. It was, Trevor, health care, collapsed, sick, like Rose, find family, go to hell, and run away, please.
Wow. Help care and go to hell in the same breath, practically. What do you make of that?
It sounds like sheer conflict, doesn't it? A man wrestling with something urgent, something secret, and maybe something he felt guilty about.
A moral crisis playing out right at the end. It's not just random confusion.
Doesn't feel like it. It feels pointed. Like Carl was involved in something that needed this long secret trip, something that made him feel both necessary, maybe, the help care part.
And also maybe ashamed or angry. They go to hell.
Precisely. And untangling that becomes sort of Trevor's path back to himself.
So he gets to New Bern, settles into this old house.
Mm-hmm.
What are his first encounters? Who does he meet?
Well, 2 people stand out right away. First, there's Callie, a young girl working at the local place, Slow Jim's trading post.
Ah, Callie. What's their interaction?
It's kind of funny, actually. Trevor's trying to use mothballs to keep snakes away from the house, and Callie just shuts him down. Flat out tells him snakes don't give a lick about mothballs.
Huh. Okay, so she's direct.
Very. But also, she mentions Carl used to bring her honey. So right away, you see Carl's character through her eyes, this quiet, kind presence in the community.
That's a nice touch. And the second key encounter?
That's Deputy Sheriff Natalie Masterson. She comes by officially checking on the empty house after Carl's death.
And what does she find? Or rather, what does she confirm for Trevor?
She confirms his suspicion that someone had been squatting there. The back door was broken in. But here's the crucial part, the detail that makes it weird. Nothing is stolen, unlike, typical break-ins or vagrancy. Instead, a table inside had been wiped clean. The recliner looked used. The bed was made.
Huh. So not theft. Someone was just hiding, trying not to leave a mess.
Exactly. Highly organized, maybe. Or just desperate not to be noticed.
Yeah.
It adds another layer of mystery to the house and indirectly to Carl.
Whoever it was, they were careful or scared.
Right. And this happens while Trevor is also grappling with his own future. He's realizing that Surgeon Dream is truly definitively over.
That must have been incredibly hard to accept.
Absolutely. But it leads him to a major decision. He decides to pivot, to pursue a psychiatric residency.
Oh, interesting. From orthopedics to psychiatry.
Yeah, but specifically focusing on PTSD in veterans.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. His own trauma is directly influencing his new path.
It's a complete reframing, isn't it? He can't fix bodies the way he planned, so he turns to healing minds, specifically minds shattered by experiences similar to his own. It parallels his other quest, perfectly uncovering the hidden internal stuff.
Both his own and his grandfather's.
Exactly. And while this professional shift is happening, things get more complicated personally. His connection with Natalie, the deputy, starts to deepen.
Well, she's evasive, right? You mentioned that earlier.
Very. He sees she's incredibly competent, sharp, top of her class in shooting, apparently a really effective deputy.
Yeah.
But whenever he tries to get, personal about her life in New Bern, she just shuts down. Walls go up.
Small town gossip, maybe? Or something more?
He wonders that too, initially, but it feels like more. And then these two mysteries, Carl's strange trip and Natalie's reserve, they kind of collide. Or rather, Trevor gets a break in Carl's mystery.
How so?
Carl's old friend, Jim, casually mentions that Carl had said he was going to visit someone named Helen.
Helen. Okay, that's a concrete name at least.
Right. So Trevor follows that lead. He tracks down the towing company, AJ's Towing, I think it was, that auctioned off Carl's old truck after he died in South Carolina.
And they still had his things.
Amazingly, yes. They had a box of his personal effects. And that box is the breakthrough.
What was inside?
His wallet, some photos, and 2 old highway maps. And one of those maps had a route highlighted.
Let me guess.
Yep. From New Bern down through South Carolina, ending right at a small town in northeast Georgia called Helen.
Wow. So the deathbed confusion. Helen wasn't a person's name necessarily, but a place.
It seems so. It confirms Carl's trip wasn't random delirium. It was planned. He was going somewhere specific. He felt he absolutely had to get to Helen, Georgia.
But why? What was waiting for him there? Or who?
Well, the answer to that arrives suddenly and tragically. Callie, the girl from the trading post, collapses at work.
Oh no, what happened?
She faints. They get her to the hospital, and the news is bad. Really bad. Acute liver failure, possibly leukemia. She's critically ill.
That's terrible. Poor girl.
But it gets even more complicated. During admission, the hospital discovers something else, the social security number she's been using.
Yeah.
It belonged to Trevor's late grandmother, Rose.
Wait, what? Carl's wife.
Yes. The like Rose from the deathbed message suddenly clicks into place. Callie isn't just sick. She's been living under a false identity, using a dead woman's SSN.
Oh my God. So Carl must have known. He must have helped her.
It seems undeniable. His kindness, his desire to help care, went way beyond just giving her honey. He was actively involved in hiding her, enabling identity theft, essentially.
This changes everything about Carl. The kind old man was harboring some huge secrets. Legal risks, too.
Massive risks. And Trevor puts it all together, his medical background, his sharp mind. He realizes Callie must be the runaway miner who was squatting in his house.
The one Natalie found traces of.
Exactly. So he confronts her, gently but firmly. He has leverage now, the breaking and entering, the SSN fraud. He basically tells her she needs to cooperate with the hospital, reveal her real identity, or he'll have to involve law enforcement.
It's a tough spot, but she needs medical help urgently.
Desperately. And she finally breaks. She tells him her real name is Karen Ann Marie Johnson. She's 16, and she's from Decatur, Georgia.
Decatur? That's near Helen, Georgia, isn't it?
It is. Helen was apparently just a place she'd mentioned once when she was homesick, maybe a place they'd visited. But the Georgia connection is solid.
Why did she run away?
It's heartbreaking. She blamed herself for the accidental choking death of her younger brother, Roger. And she felt her parents, lost in their own grief, hated her for it, couldn't stand to be around her.
Jesus, that's awful. So she ran.
Ran away, ended up sleeping rough, and Carl found her in his barn.
And instead of turning her in, he helped her. Got her the job at the trading post, let her use his wife's identity.
Took an enormous risk out of sheer compassion.
Right.
His final trip, the drive towards Helen, must have been about her, trying to find her family maybe, get consent for medical care, broker some kind of reconciliation.
So his plea to help care, it was for Karen.
Hey, Callie, it all fits, but the secrets aren't done yet. Not by a long shot.
What else is there?
Well, with Karen's identity known and her needing family for potential donor matches, Trevor and Natalie plan a trip to Georgia to find her parents.
Okay, makes sense.
But before they leave New Bern, Natalie takes Trevor somewhere, a detour. She drives him to a critical care facility.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. This is where she finally reveals her secret. The reason for her evasiveness, the walls she puts up.
It's not just small-town life.
No. Her husband, Mark,
Yeah.
he's not just an other guy she doesn't talk about. He's a patient in that facility.
Oh, wow, what happened to him?
Bacterial meningitis. About 14 months earlier, it left him in a persistent vegetative state. PVS.
PVS. That's not like a coma, right? That's generally considered permanent.
Generally, yes.
Yeah.
Very limited responsiveness, no real consciousness. It's a long-term, almost always irreversible state.
So, Natalie,
Mhm.
she's married,
Yeah.
but her husband is, well, he's there, but not really there.
Exactly. And she is utterly committed to her marriage vow, in sickness and in health. She visits him regularly, talks to him about her life, their life. Her loyalty is absolute, even though he can't acknowledge it or, release her from that vow.
That explains everything. Her professionalism, her boundaries with Trevor. She's navigating this impossible situation.
Completely. And Trevor, who's about to start training in psychiatry, is suddenly face to face with this incredibly complex ethical and emotional reality, far beyond any textbook.
Her loyalty isn't just to Mark the person, but to the promise she made, to the idea of who she is.
That's a great way to put it. Abandoning Mark now, in this state, would shatter her own self-image, her own moral code.
Okay, so resolutions. What happens with Karen?
They make the trip. Contact law enforcement in Georgia. Karen is reunited with her family, her parents, Curtis and Louise, and her twin sisters. They're relieved, shocked, but ultimately focused on helping her. They start donor testing immediately.
That's good news, at least. A positive outcome from Carl's initial, if legally gray, kindness.
Definitely. And Trevor, he has to decide what he's going to do. About the house, about his future.
Does he sell the place? Move on completely.
No. He decides to keep Carl's house. He realizes it's not just an old building anymore. It's full of, meaningful ghosts, memories. He even finds his mother's childhood height marks on a closet doorframe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he commits, he'll fix it up, learn to harvest the honey like Carl did, even though he's starting his residency up in Baltimore. He's choosing to carry that past, those memories, forward.
He embraces the connection instead of running from it.
Hmm.
But what about Natalie? How does that resolve?
That comes later in a letter. It's the final sort of key document in this whole story.
She writes him.
Yes. And she lays it all out. She admits falling in love with him was real powerful, an exalted experience, she calls it.
There's a but, isn't there?
There's a but. She explains why she can't be with him, why she has to end it. It comes down to Mark and her vow.
She can't break it.
She feels she can't. She says divorcing Mark now, while he's helpless, unable to consent or even understand, it would make her a villain in her own life story. It would fundamentally change who she is.
Not changing who she is.
She wouldn't be the woman Trevor fell in love with anymore. It's this incredibly powerful statement about identity and moral commitment over personal happiness.
Wow. That's heavy. So where does that leave Trevor?
Well, fast forward 5 years. He's Dr. Benson now, successful psychiatrist, presumably helping veterans like he planned. He comes back to New Bern.
For what?
A wedding. Karen Johnson's wedding. Callie.
Oh, that's wonderful. She made it.
She did. And at the wedding, he sees Natalie.
That's like, awkward, sad.
Apparently she turns, sees him, and smiles. And she says something like, "Hello, Trevor. I was wondering how long it would take you to come find me."
So, not entirely closed off. Maybe the commitment remains, but the door isn't bolted forever.
It leaves you wondering, doesn't it?
Mm.
It suggests that while her choice back then was absolute for that time, life moves on. Things change. The connection might still be there.
So tying it all together, this whole intricate web, Trevor's injury, his move, finding Karen, his relationship with Natalie, it all stemmed from Carl's one act, his quiet decision to help a runaway kid.
An act of kindness that was, let's be honest, also illegal, but deeply moral in its own way. It set everything in motion.
It really makes you think about Natalie's choice, though. This conflict between who you feel you must be honorable, loyal to a vow, and the chance for happiness. What does that kind of loyalty even mean when the person you're loyal to can't receive it?
That's the core question, isn't it? What is the cost of upholding your own identity when faced with impossible circumstances? There's no easy answer there.
And maybe one final thought for everyone listening. Carl's trip to Helen was about helping someone vulnerable. His kindness, even years after his death, shaped multiple lives profoundly. So what about us? What quiet, maybe even forgotten kindnesses from our own pasts might still be echoing, shaping our present lives in ways we don't even realize.
That's a beautiful and slightly unsettling thought to end on, the unseen ripples of past actions. Thanks for exploring this with us.
Always fascinating. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.